Selma and welcome to my book journey. So today I decided to do a kind of a short shelf tour of my office. And so I'm going to go through and do each of my bookcases and go through each shelf and kind of tell you and show you what books I have and which books I have read in all of my shelves. And it was really interesting because I went through just one of my bookshelves and I thought, okay, that is a long time. So I decided instead of doing all of them, and I have in my office, I have two really tall ones, and then I have a shorter one, like a middle-sized one, and then I have a couple of shelves that are like nonfiction and middle grade books in my office. And so it would take forever to go through on one video to show all of the books. So I decided I'm going to break them up and do one at a time, kind of make like a short little series of my shelves, my bookcases. And so my first one is my black bookcase, and all of those are my Christian fiction. So that kind of works out. So there'll be different genres. So, and then I'll do my secular bookcase, and then I'll do my mostly World War II historical fiction bookcase, and then I'll do my nonfiction case shelves. And that's what I'm going to do. So today is my Christian fiction bookcase, and I'll go through those. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you that I just finished this book today called Victoria by Daisy Goodwin, and I loved it. I really did love it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I knew it was going to be about Queen Victoria and her life. She was a queen in England, but I thought it was going to be more of her life, like her throughout her reign and throughout the years and everything, because I didn't really read a whole lot. I just knew it was, Victoria, it was about her. But it really was only really centered around the time when she first became queen, when she was only 18 years old. And so it was really a sweet book, had a little, some romance in here, and you didn't know what was going to happen. Although I did cheat because, I went to Wikipedia to see who she ended up with. But anyway, it was an interesting read to read about how royalty was back then, and all the rules and the protocol, and how she even became queen at all, and what she had to deal with since she was so young and the new queen. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I kind of like a book, what do they call that, a weekly, I don't know, update of books I've read. And this one is one I just finished, and like I said, I really loved it. And this was for my Journey Through Time reading challenge that I'm doing this year. And so this was for the 19th century. That's what this book was for. Okay, so I'm going to be going through probably just two of my bookshelves here. I don't know if I'm going to do all of them in this video, but starting with my black bookcase, on the very top I have some books that aren't mine, but they're my son's books. His World of Warcraft, the Scott Lang and Dave Rubin are his. And then I have a book by Candace Owens called Blackout. That is mine. I got that a long time ago, and I started it, but I haven't finished it. And then that square box is actually a popcorn thing that we got when we went to see the movie, Doctor Strange movie. It was the Doctor Strange movie, and you could buy a large popcorn, and you can have the popcorn in that nice box, because they had the box in the movie. If you've seen it, you kind of know what that means. And then I have my Chronicles of Narnia bind up underneath there. And then I have a book that I picked up recently on a haul, is the memoir of Matthew Perry. And sadly, he passed away not too long ago, probably after he wrote this memoir. And I've heard some good things about it. That it's pretty good. So I'm hoping to read that soon. And then I have a box set that I just put up there that I picked up at my library sale of Anna Green. It's not the Anna Green Gables series, but it's like a spin-off of Anne of Green Gables. It's the Stories of Avonlea, I think. And so those are those. Okay, so on my black shelf, or my black bookcase, I have nothing but my Christian fiction all in one. So these are all Christian fiction, but they're all different genres. And so and I try to keep them organized by genre within the Christian fiction. So this is kind of like my, maybe like my historical fiction genre of Christian fiction is what I have on here. So I have and I'll let you know which ones I've actually read. A lot of these books that are on my shelves I have not read yet, and so you'll have to keep forgiving me. I keep putting my finger in front of the camera. Okay, so I have up here, I have some Lynn Austen books. This is While We Were Far Apart, and I have not read this one. And then this one I have not read either. This is a Christy Cambron movie book. It's called Castle on the Rise, and this is actually a series, and it's the Lost Castle series. And I have read the first book, but I have not read this one, and this is the second one. The Lost Castle was the first book, and I don't have that one, but I do have the second one, but I have not read it. And then this one I picked up on Amazon for like $3, and this one's called The Bride of Blackfriars Lane by Michelle Grape. I have read one. I read one of her books. I read a novella during Christmas, and I really enjoyed it. It was like it was like a spin-off not a spin-off. It was a retelling of And Then There Were None, but like around Christmas time. It was a cute one, or not a cute one, but it was a good one. Okay, so there's those. Okay, and then I have my timeless books here, and I've read all of these. When the Day Comes, In This Moment, For a Lifetime, and Across the Ages. And Across the Ages, of course, is the really pretty cover there. So I've read those four. Then we have some Deanne Gist, Measure of a Lady. I have not read this one. I don't know if I've even read any of her books. And then this is another one that's by her. And this one is Beguiled, by her and another author. And then this one is The Thief of Lanwin Manor by Sarah E. Ladd. I just love that cover, so that's one I have not read yet. Now this one I have read. This is The Lost Melody by Joanne Davidson Politano, and I love this cover, so pretty. And I've read this one. That was a good one. Here's 3 of my Julia Klassen books, and I've only read one of hers. This one's The Dancing Master. Have not read that. The Castaway in Cornwall. I have not read that. The Ivy Hill Christmas. I did read this one, and I really enjoyed it. That was a good one. All right, so next we have some Laura. I have a Laura Franz book. I thought I had more of hers, but let me This one is called The Courting Merrill Little. Have not read that. Suzanne Woods Fisher. I have several of her books. This is Phoebe's Light. I have not read that. The Moonlight School. Have not read that. Anna's Crossing. Have not read that. It looks like it's an Amish novel. Okay, I did read this next one. This one was really good. The Librarian of Boone's Hollow by Kim Vogel Sawyer. That one was a really good one. About the librarians with the pack horses. Then we have a couple of Jane Kirkpatrick books that I have not read. This one is called A Light in the Wilderness. And then this one is called Something Worth Doing by Jane Kirkpatrick. Okay, and then I have 2 books by Jocelyn Green. They are part of a series. This one's called Veiled in Smoke. And then this one is called Shadows of the White City, I'm sorry. And then I have some Lynn Austin books. I have one called Hidden Places. And then this is part 1 and 2 of this series. Has to do with the Civil War, Candle in the Darkness. And then A Light to My Path. And then a couple of other Lynn Austin books, Wings of Refuge and Until We Reach Home. And then we have at the top, we have these 2 books. I have not written either one of these. When the Waters Came by Candace Sue Patterson, and Irish Meadows by Susan Ann Mason. So those are there. And then these are 2 of the ones that I've gotten recently. This is Hope Between the Pages by Pippa Basham. And then In Spotlight in Shadow by Rachel Scott McDaniel. And when I bought these, I didn't realize that they were part of this series, Doors to the Past series. So I thought that was kind of interesting that I picked them up separately and didn't know they went together. Okay, so that is my historical fiction section. Okay, so shelf number 2 is, these are all my Christian fiction, mysteries, and kind of suspense books. And so I have up here, I have Lynn Blackburn, Unknown Threat. I haven't read this yet. I really want to, and I need to. This one also I have not read, Never Miss by Melissa Coslin. I have Deceived by Irene Hannon, and this is book 3 in the private justice novel. And I haven't read it yet. I've put this on so many TBRs this year and last year. I just haven't read it yet. I read the first 2, but I just haven't got to read the 3rd one. This one was one I picked up at a little free library, I think, called Blessed Child. Okay. Okay, we have our, well, I guess what a lot of people call it the Submerged series, but it's actually the Alaskan Courage series. I have all of the books, all the way to book 5. I have read these 2. I have not read the last 3, but I need to. I have the Cape Refuge series by Terry Blackstock, book 1, 2, and 3. I have not read these. Actually, this is the 4th book. It's just a different copy. I got all of these at my library sale for 50 cents each. So then I have another Terry Blackstock book, Private Justice. I have not read that one. Blackstock, Private Justice. I haven't read that. Shadow of Doubt by Terry Blackstock. I have this series, Code of Honor series by Irene Hannon, 1, 2, and 3. I have not read those yet. Not read yet. I have the Elite Guardian. I should be taking these up to show you. The Irene Hannon books kind of look like that. The Lynette Easton series called Elite Guardians. 1, 2. I believe there's only 3. Maybe, I can't remember now offhand. But I have 3. This one's called Always Watching, Moving Target, and Without Warning. Now, my mother-in-law, who this is her favorite genre, she has read all the Submerged. She has read these. She has read all of my, she's actually read all of my suspense books. Because usually when I get them, I give them to her. Like, she's read these 2. She's read that one. She reads them really fast and then she gives them back to me. But I haven't got to reading them. Now, her favorite series is the the D. Henderson O'Malley series. I have read book 1, but I have not continued the series. But I do have book 2 in the series. This one's The Guardian, and this one is book 5 in the series that I have found at my little free library. So, and then this is another book by D. Henderson that is part of this. I don't think it's part of the O'Malley series, but it's in the same universe, I believe, or world, and that's called Unspoken. Okay, I did read this one. Here's one I've read. I've read Dangerous Beauty, and this is by Melissa Coslin. I really enjoyed that one. I have not read this one, Irene Hannon, Sea Glass Cottage. This one I got at a little free library. I have not read this one, Colleen Coble, Strands of Truth. And then another Colleen Coble book, Cry in the Night. And this is a Rock Harbor mystery. So I have not read those. So out of this whole section, I have read 1, 2, 3. Yep. So yes, I need to work on this shelf, I think. All right, let's go down to the next one. Okay, so my third shelf on my Christian fiction bookcase is what I've kind of been putting most of my biblical fiction in here, and then also I have some other books in here as well. But most of these are biblical fiction. Okay, so now we can get to some red ones, finally. So I have read all 3 of the Out of Egypt series by Connell Cossette. The first one is called Counted with the Stars. I really enjoyed this series. The second one is, this book 3 is, or book 2 is The Shadow of the Storm. Got these mixed up. And then Wings of the Wind was the third book. And I just love these. They're so beautiful, beautiful covers, and the stories are really good. Okay, and then we have, now this next set I have not started yet. So there's 4 of those in here. Also by Connell and Cossette, and these are called the Cities of Refuge series. And the first one is A Light on the Hill, also beautiful covers. Shelter of the Most High, Until the Mountains Fall. That's book 3. And book 4 is Like Flames in the Night. And just really beautiful books. I have read this one. This one's by Tesha Afshar, Pearl in the Sand, Story of Rahab. That was a really good one. I have, this is a series by Lynn Austin, and this is her Chronicles of the King series, and I had heard so many wonderful things about this series that I had to pick it up. And this one, I have read the first book, this one is Gods and Kings, and this is the story of King Hezekiah. And then the second book is called Song of Redemption, The Strength of His Hands, Faith of My Fathers, and book 5 is called Among the Gods. And I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to think, I think I started this one. Or did I finish it? I can't remember now offhand. Okay, and then the next one is called Beloved Leah by Cynthia Davis. I'm going to show this one really quick so I can move it out of the way. This is Lineage of Grace. This is a set of novellas by Francine Rivers, of all the women, the 5 women that are written about in the lineage of Jesus. So they're little short novellas. It's a bind up of her novellas. Then we have by Misu Anders, I have Love's Sacred Song. And this is about Solomon, King Solomon. And then I found this oldie called Escape from Ephesus, and it's the story of Onesimus, which is in the book Philemon in the New Testament. So that's that story. Okay, so now we just have some other Christian fiction in here that I have in here. So I have Jen Turano playing the part. Another Jen Turano, Match in the Making. I have not read this one. I know I should have read that one. I have this book, The Debt by Angela Hunt. It's been on TBRs that I have not read. The Pearl by Angela Hunt. And then this book is called The Scent of Lilacs by Anne A. Gabbert. Just a lovely cover. I'll have to look at that one because I know there's a prompt about florals and I didn't see that one. So I'm going to have to look at that and see what that book, remind myself what that book's about. Okay, and then I have the first book in the Midford series by Jan Karan, At Home with Midford. And then I did read this one. This one I read, Bridge to Haven by Francine Rivers, and I really, really loved that book. Okay, so I did have some in here in this shelf that I have read, so that's a good thing. All right, now we'll go to the next one. Okay, so now we're on shelf number 3, and this is where I put all of my contemporary romance and then just romance Christian fiction. And before that, I did find on this shelf Angela Hunt Unspoken, and this one actually belonged up on the shelf we just were on because I had Angela Hunt's up there. So, all right, so let's look at the ones on top here. So I have some Westerns. I have a Head in the Clouds by Karen Whitmire. I have not read that one. This is a first in a series, the Hanger's Horseman series, book 1, At Love's Command by Karen Whitmire. And this one I read, this is a series of novellas, Karen Whitmire, Mary Connolly, Regina Jennings, and Carol Cox. And then this one is called An Uncommon Protector, a Lone Star Hero's Love Story by Shelley Shepherd Gray. And then this one is, I found this one, it is a book 2 in this series by Mary Connolly, The Husbandry. So I'd like to find book 1 before I read this one. I just haven't come across it. Okay, up on the top of on the other side, I have Unraveled by Heidi McCannon. some Colleen Cobles, Tidewater Inn. This one's called The Lightkeeper's Daughter, Colleen Coble. This is a Rachel Hawk, Once Upon a Prince. And then Nicole D's All That Really Matters. I actually started this and I didn't finish it. It got bumped, so I need to finish that one. Okay. All right, so I have a couple series, well, several series in here. This one is the Paige Adler novel series. There's 3 of them, and I have Page Torn, Page Rewritten, and then Page Turned. I have not read those yet. I have read her other, this might be her first series actually, and this one is her Mismatch series. I have read the first book, and that was really good. So we have Mismatch, Rematch, and then Match Point. Oh, look, it's got Elvis on it. What does this one have? Rematch, some more coffee. And then Match Point has Elvis. I guess there must be Elvis. Oh, this one has flowers too. I have to remember the florals. Okay, and then we have the Skymar series. Oh, try to get comfortable here. The Skymar series by Pepper Basham. I have read book 1, Authentically Izzy. I am listening to Positively Penelope right now on audio, and I really enjoy that one. Then I have a Jenny Proctor book called Absolutely Not in Love, and that one was really good. I really enjoyed that one. And then we have Romancing the Grump, another one by Jenny Proctor that is Pocky as well. I think they go together. They actually go together. Then we have Becky Wade, her Misty Rivers romance, and this is book 1. And then I have a novella from that series. Then we have Bethany Turner, Bryn and Sebastian hate each other. So it's probably that's probably going to be a cute one to read. Then we have The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. I did read this one, and it was really good. I have also read Love in Tandem by Becca Kinzer. I love this cover. And then I have a Courtney Wash book called Just Let Go, another one with some florals in here. And then I have a series by Karen Kingsbury that start all. I don't know what the series is called. It's the Baxter. I guess it has to do with the Baxter family. It's the Redemption series. And this is book 3. I can see book 5, and I don't know what this one is. But I know it's not book 1 because I don't have book 1. And they all start with R. Rejoice, Reunion, Return. So I'm just working on trying to get the whole series before I start it. Okay, then we have the Texas Ever After series by Karen Whitmire. And this is the fairy tale series. So here's Fairest of Heart. This is the Snow White series. Then we have the Cinderella, If the Boot Fits, which this one was my favorite of the 3. And then we have Cloaked in Beauty, the Red Riding Hood story. Okay, and then the last books here are Colleen Coble. And this is the Sunset novel series. The Inn at Ocean's End, book 1. The Mermaid Moon, I love these covers. And then The Twilight at Blueberry Barrens is book 3. I have not read those yet. So I did have some in here that I did read, but have quite a bit left to read in this section. Okay, so at the very bottom of this shelf, I have kind of a mismatch of books here. So I have In This Present Darkness by Frank E. Peretti, book on spiritual warfare. It's really good. I haven't read the book. I listened to the audio years ago. And then I have quite a few Tracy Peterson books. This one is Tracy Peterson with Kimberly Woodhouse, and this one is called All Things Hidden. And then I have down here, I have Deadline by Randy Alcorn. This one is called, this is a series by Judith Pella called Written on the Wind. Pretty older one, has to do with espionage, I believe. Here's another Tracy Peterson, Where My Heart Belongs. And this is a 3-book series, The Lights of Lowell. So we have a tapestry of hope, a love woven true, and a pattern of her heart. Pattern of Her Heart is book 3. And then another Tracy Peterson book, A Shelter of Home. This is another, she does a lot of series. So this one's a Westward Chronicle, book 1. This one is also a series that I picked up. This one is the Brides, I believe. What is this one? The Bride, Sapphire Brides. This is Treasure Concealed. A Beauty Refined, and A Love Transformed. So that's books 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then another Tracy Peterson, Embers of Love. I have a couple Charles Martin books here. Actually, I have 3. I have another one, but it's in my other shelf because it's a hardcover. This one is called Wrapped in Rain. And then this one is called Where the River Ends. And I have read a couple of his books. I have not read these, but I have read a couple and really enjoyed them. Okay, let me talk about these before I get back here. This one is Once Upon a Wardrobe by Patty Callahan. Really great book. This one is Romanoff by Nadine Brandis. I really want to read this one soon. This is a series that I picked up recently. This is the Color Theory series. This is book 1 by Ashley Bustamante. There's Vivid. Book 2 is Radiant. And book 4 is Chromatic. Okay, and then continuing on here is Talk of the Town by Lisa Wingate. I picked this one up because I read her book called Before We Were Yours. A totally different kind of book, but since I really enjoyed that one, I grabbed this one. This one is called Apocalypse Dawn, and it's based on the Left Behind books. So I have by Mel Odom, I think. Then we have The Returning by Anne Tatlock. And then we have Bittersweet by Kathy Marie Hake. Is it Hake? Yeah. And then we have Jeanette Oak, The Hidden Flame. This is actually a book too. It's this Acts of Faith, and this one's called A Hidden Flame. This is a book about Ruth by Lois T. Henderson. And here's another Jen Toronto book, A Change of Fortune. This is a Gabriel Meyer book that I found. It's Secrets from Grandma's Attic, Buttoned Up by Gabriel Meyer. And so I love Gabriel Meyer because she writes the timeless books. So when I saw this book by her, I had to pick it up. Here's another Rachel Hawk book, The Writing Desk. And then this last one here is Christie by Catherine Marshall. It's like a classic Christian novel. All right, so that is the bottom, the last shelf in my Christian fiction bookcase. Okay, this one, I forgot to show this one. This is also in my Christian fiction bookcase. This is on the bottom floors, bottom shelf as well. This is a romance collection of rags and riches. And it looks like there's 9 stories. And it has Michelle Greep, Erica Vetz. I'll have these names. I'm butchering them. I don't know these names, but I do see Gabriel Meyer in here. I think that, and Jamie Jo Wright is in here. So these are authors that I recognize, and that's why I picked this one up. So, okay, so that is everything on my Christian fiction shelf bookcase. This is another book that I have on my Christian fiction shelf. Oh, although it was pulled because it's actually on my TBR this month. I'm reading this book. It's the one I pulled from my jar. This is The Curse of Misty Wayfair by Jamie Jo Wright. So that one would be over here on this shelf as well. Okay, so those are all the books that were in my shelf, or I keep saying shelf, they were in my bookcase, on my shelves, in my bookcase, for all my Christian fiction books. And afterwards I thought, all right, do I have any, floating around in my house somewhere that are not on my shelf? Probably. So later on in the upcoming videos, you may see some more Christian fiction pop up, especially if I pick them up on a haul or something. But anyway, those were, for the most part, all my Christian fiction. So thank you so much for hanging out and watching with me. Let me know in the comments below if there were any books that you saw on my shelves that you think I should read right away. Like, why haven't you read them yet? I know there was a ton that I have not yet read, and sorry to say, but a lot of times I check out books from the library and read them on Libby and things before I read what's on my shelf. So just let me know if there's any books that you've read and really enjoyed, or if there's books that you've read and you didn't care for, like they were like, don't even waste your time, or not waste your time, but maybe, you might not want to read those for whatever reason. Anyway, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and you all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.